Alright, let's see if I can explain this away. And this video is mostly for my benefit, so I can remember how all I did this. Okay, so back here, of course, we got that little light rigged up with the positive and negative. We got these wires hanging loose for positive and negative for the bilge pump, and then the always on wire for the bilge pump for the automatic switch. We got the positive and negative wires that'll get hooked up to the shutoff switch that I'll mount up here. That's really the only electrical thing I have to do yet. And this is the wire that goes from the switch down to the battery. Okay, one of the things I've done here is there's a little boot that goes here. Well, the screws came through here, and rather than have a screw sticking out, I used my little cutoff wheel, cut them off, and then stuck a little silicone on there to cover up the nub that was left. I didn't want a sharp screw sticking through there that you could poke your fingers on. So yeah, I covered that up. Everything's run through. That comes out here. The steering is rock solid. It's not loose and hanging there. And as far as the screw thing, I did the same thing for the switch panel. Alright, I've got to label the switch panel yet. This button will be for the lights, the bilge pump, and of course the horn. And then you have the open socket and the USBs. Now, over here, we got 6 grounds and 3 positives. Now on these bus bars, you do want to put these boots on, because what will happen is if something happens in here and it touches the 2 wires, it could short out, cause a fire, and boom, your day's ruined. So anyway, these 2 positive wires go over to your switch panels, and I leave these fuse covers off. I fuse both of these. I leave these covers off to remind myself that there's no fuse in there. Okay, these go over. Basically, it charges the system. These 2 negative wires go over for my negative for this system. Okay, now one of the down here is the 2 bilge wires that come through. The one negative wire goes up to the negative, and the positive wire comes around and goes here for that switch. All right, now that's that one. Now what we have up here is the positive negative for that light come across, and the positive and negative from the back light come across. Now the negative wire goes up and into there, and then right here you can see with this one, these 2 wires, I meet all 3 of these wires together, because rather than do them separate, I combine the front and the rear lights and the positive wire that goes to this switch into one thing. So I use a bigger connector, combine the 2 and the 1 and shrink them together. So I'll use, instead of the blue connector, I'll use the yellow connector, which is a bigger size, so I can get the 2 wires in there and crimp them together, shrink them in there. So that runs the front light or the bow light and the stern light. Positive comes over here. That switch works it. Okay, and that's beautiful. This brown wire runs to this positive. That is for the basically the always on. Some people would run this to the battery for the bilge pump. That's fine, and you can do that. I ran it to here, which you could change that or whatever. But if the power switch is off, you know, the main switch is off, then everything is off in the boat. But you turn the switch on, then there will be power to this and power to the negative of it. So the bilge pump will run automatically at that point. Or with this positive wire, you can switch it on manually. Anyway, I kind of wanted to do this so I could remember, because I was trying to remember how to wire these. It's just a 3-prong switch, and I was looking on YouTube for that particular switch, these 2 switches, and I could not find any videos on that stupid switch. They all had 5-prong, 6-prong, 8-prong, different switches, not these 3 prongs. But basically across the top is the negatives. This one's the positives, and then these ones on the bottom, they go for whatever, you know, whatever thing you're trying to power. It's really simple. Once I figured it out, I'm like, I've only wired half a dozen of these so far. I don't know why I didn't remember it, but that's why I'm making this video, to remind myself. But, you know, like I said, I leave these off to remind myself there's no fuse in them. I usually use a heat gun to shrink these things down, but the switch went out in it, so I got some switches ordered, so I had to use my heat gun, you know, my torch, and this thing started to go goofy on me. It is shooting out a flame that, well, it's not showing it right now, but it was shooting it out like 8 inches, like, you know, like a crackhead lighter. I mean, it was crazy long, but I did okay with it. I do want my just regular heat gun back. I don't like the flame. This, while it isn't perfect, it is a lot better than the previous boats have done. I'm trying to do this better each time. It'll get to where I got it pretty good on down the road. So it isn't bad. I do want to get some more things for the next boat. I kind of would have liked to have had another one of these right here, but they left it off when they built it. Yeah, really, all I gotta do is put the shutoff switch behind that panel, figure out where the tank is gonna be, and then measure it on this side and drill the hole for the fill, because they gotta line up perfect, because I have so very little room. The bottom of the fuel filler cap and the top of the fuel tank spout will be about that far apart when I put this deck on. And literally, I will be probably trying to set this deck on the hull tomorrow. That's how close I am. The trailer finally came in today. I wasn't expecting those till August, because that's what they told me. I can pick it up as early as Thursday. So we'll see how that goes. It might be Friday or Monday before I go get it, depending on what my schedule is around here. And I've been messy. I've been throwing my crap on the floor here. So when I get done, I gotta clean all that up. And I gotta clean up my cart. Since I've got my new tools, man, I'm loving these. That doesn't release till it crimps all the way. It is so much better than this old thing, or the other versions that I have over there. And then this is freaking beautiful too. That just is perfect. It's a Klein. These two tools right here, these two things made my job so much easier. Also, another thing was a brand new pair of cutters. Those three tools make a beautiful job, and some nice shrink wrap, although I do want to get some red so I can make my positive lines here in red. That may be a little anal, but that's me. Do all the positives in red. I don't know. I guess that's just me. I even had, since this is a red boat, I got all different colors of little zip ties. So I stuck red ones on here. I'm just being stupid there, I guess, but because I get green ones too, and I could use those on the green ones. I got thousands of that shit over there, so I just figured, why not? Anyway, that's just kind of what I'm doing with this. I'm nearly done with this one. If I had more stuff to do to it, there'd be more wiring involved, but I guess that's up to the customer when he wants to put his gauges in and stuff. I would have put this here, but Ted wants it here, so that's where it went. So I do definitely think this tube down here was the best idea versus the little blocks I had down in there, because trying to put these zip ties and screw them down to that was not a good idea. So the tube was great. Anyway, yeah, all the other thing here is I may move something in the future, because this, according to the template that I had when I got these molds, this is where they had this laid out for the cleat, this is where they had that laid out for there, and the bilge pump thing. So I may move this over on the overlay, because these are kind of close together and I don't like the interference. Just, trying to improve things. I just, I don't like them that close together. So, all right, that's enough for now. I'll do another video as it progresses. All right, thanks for watching.